Hey everyone, we're here at the Imaginary Possessions exhibition curated by Maybissa Chan, and Gabriel and Sebastian Alabaster, who's back there, are going to be speaking with us, as well as May. So we're going to start off with Gabriel. This is his triptych. And yeah, there's 4 pieces in the exhibition.
Well, yeah, the triptych, the journalist,
Yeah,
and then
journalist
2
there.
adjacent prints, yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. Let's get right into it. So, where are we? Here's the first one. Yeah, so looking at these works, especially the triptych, there's a real sense of the instability of the idea of witnessing. The men seem to be looking at or anticipating something nefarious, but we are never given a stable account of what is happening. You're working from documentary photographs of Talibanized Afghanistan in the early 2000s, taken by Greg Waggett, right?
That's it, yes.
A British war veteran and photojournalist, but rather than simply translating those images for a contemporary international audience, you seem to disturb them even more than what a framing of a photograph does, right? So when Greg is taking a picture, that's already disturbing what's actually going on and constructing a narrative around it. So the source images from Greg are already disturbing. But your paintings disturb their factual clarity too. You add elements, shift the atmosphere, and make the images feel staged or dreamt, misremembered, censored, and even politically contaminated. How do you think about this process of taking a mediated image, mediated by Greg, when already framed by his camera, his authority, and his position as witness, and then reworking it, so that his mediation, I feel like, gets sort of cancelled out or neutralized to a certain extent?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was always more attached to the found photography form itself. When I've been reading into Susan Sontag,
Yes.
it's more about the gap of time between when the photo was taken, brought back into the present day.
Yeah.
So I was looking into Anthony Gormley and his sculptures on the beach up north near Liverpool, and it's called Another Place, where there are 100 sculptures, and it's all scattered around the beach of life-size figures of himself that have all just transformed in their own way. It makes me think about how I can transform the found photography that's been sitting through time in that huge gap between when it was taken and when the artist has actually found it. And I think it's important to question what found photography can achieve for an artist that taking an image yourself cannot. Because there is a definitive difference. When an artist takes their own photograph, they're no longer being an artist, they're being a photographer as well, taking their own bias into account of what they actually want to paint. Whereas for a found image, it's like taking it out of its context or transforming it into a way that originally was not the purpose of the image. So it's just that ongoing transformation of time and intention, which is what I think this painting is focusing on. That's what its direction is that I decided to take it in.
Would you say that the last point I was making, it somehow cancelling Greg's mediation because it's further abstracted, and then not only is it abstracted, it enters a different realm based on your vision as an artist. You cannot even, no one can claim that this is actually representing something in particular. This is now an independent dreamscape, is how I see it, especially considering the various elements that you add and how you modify the scene itself.
Yeah, it's just the narrative I've just been trying to alter and re-tamper with. I've told you how I've met Greg, right? He lived down the street to me, and he invited me to cater for his dinner parties, and it started as like a slow friendship growing throughout the years, and I started painting him in my earlier works. And eventually he was really generous enough to start, letting me into his own life about how he's gone to these places in Afghanistan and explored these times, and working in the British Embassy and working around that during the 20th century and capturing all of these moments.
Yeah. Beautiful. Why divide this scene into 3 vertical sections, and why introduce the hooded figure, which wasn't there in the original source image? So the figure with the hood is not in the source image, and that hood completely changes the atmosphere. It brings captivity, interrogation, humiliation, torture, crime, innocence, and the whole visual history of the wars. Massacres, terrorism, ongoing violence have occurred since those photographs were taken. Are you suggesting that the images from that period can no longer be seen innocently? Or is the hood less about Afghanistan as a factual place and more about your own dreamscape, which is what I was alluding to earlier, and your own artistic vision of trauma and fragmentation, moral obscurity, unresolved karma, if you like, mourning, distance, haunting? That's the last question, if you want to go for it.
Yeah, you see, it's more about, again, it's more about trying to escape the actual context of the image itself. That it's not about the war, it's not about the Taliban, and it's not about, this hooded figure may have repeated certain subjects on that, because obviously it's quite a powerful image that speaks volumes. But it's just something that has unconsciously appeared out of process of printing.
The hood, you mean?
The hooded
over
figure.
there, yes.
Yes. And dividing it into 3 sections focuses each figure as more as a body that just no longer exists. Because again, these people no longer exist, they've all died. And bringing them back into the present, sort of transforming them no longer as living beings, but more as statues or as sculptures. Like going back to Anthony Gormley on Another Place, the beach in Liverpool, all of these sculptures are figments of himself, but they're all transforming in their each unique individual way, which is what I'm trying to achieve with this composition. If I had it all as just one image itself, I feel like I would just go back to the photo representation, and I see no point in that. If I divide it each individually, each figure has transformed its own unique way, for the face, for the poster of the exhibition, and for this central figure that's just turned into a terracotta-like figment.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can go into the terracotta army.
Absolutely.
And then this hooded figure there is just a pointed statue. It's just turning these living beings into a sculpture that they're just each transforming through time.
Absolutely.
Transformed from when they were taken in the image, from 68, brought all the way back into the present, only existing now in the image, in the photograph.
I love the analogy of the statues. I think that's incredible, because what do we have from the past? We have statues. Those are the only thing that sort of survive, right, in stone or in whatever form they may be. So your painting, turning them into the statue-esque figures, I think is a wonderful way of bringing it all together. Amazing. Thank you so much, Gabriel.
Yes, thank you very much,
Thank you. So, ultimately the painting is asking us to look at this, dreamy desert image and to question the supposed innocence of documentation produced by an occupier within an occupation, right? Within the US-led occupation, the British war veteran. What attracted you to this picture? And that's not the ultimate thing that it's asking us to look at, but that's one of the things, right? That's one of the complications that's happening that resulted in the picture being taken. So what attracted you to this picture and the title, The Journalist, apart from the meta play of each on the other?
Yeah. I think what attracted me first with the image was the sheer poignance of the image itself, where you're brought in closer to the figure, but then at the same time you're attracting back from just the whole composition and movement of the horses. And when it goes to the titling of the painting, I usually title mine after I've actually painted it, but when I'm looking into a painting by Magritte, where he's painted a pipe that you smoke, and it's in French, but this is not a pipe.
It's not a pipe, yeah.
It's not a pipe, it is an image of the pipe. I guess the same thing goes here, that this, I mean, I'd say not the journalist, but it is the journalist. It's an image of someone journaling, capturing or keeping this moment in, and now this image now exists through the painting itself, through the image of someone photographing this moment, which I think was something that attracted me, you know, an image of an image.
So the journalist, the title you said usually come after the painting.
Yes.
But in this, did you have a sense of what it was going to be as you were, because you were already attracted to the fact that the documentation is taking place within a documentation that was taking place, right, by Greg. So did you have a sense of, okay, maybe this could be the journalist, or the recording? I don't know, it could be, you know.
I had the general idea of what it was, the whole essence of the painting itself, that it's documenting something that is quite profound.